Talked about it. Coaches talked about, the importance of going through adversity. What's the energy? What's the mood like personally and collectively, snapping a 4-game losing streak and coming back from a 21-point hole?
Like I said the other day, just we need these tests. So, excuse me, I'm very hungry. Just played an NBA game. No, shoot, the energy in the locker room is it's changed drastically since we started the game. I'll tell you that. Just coming out, getting embarrassed like that on somebody else's home floor for what is it, a third consecutive game? Giving up 30 plus points in the first quarter, and then climbing out of a hole, and then coming out at halftime, and then we just intensified our effort on both ends of the floor, and we just started playing good basketball. Guys got aggressive. The ball started finding the right people. Had a few mistakes here and there on the defensive end, but we were pretty locked in, knowing that they were coming off back to back as well. So we just had to withstand a lot of their runs.
I'm pretty sure you've said this before. As long as you guys are getting a shot on goal on offense, you guys are going to be pretty tough, to contain. The turnovers were an issue in the first half. What are you seeing there with the turnovers, and how were you guys able to clean that up? I know that's going to be important moving forward.
Obviously it's too many at times when you're trying to get back in the game, or just untimely turnovers. Those are backbreakers, or it's just demoralizing for the team. So anytime we could just, lock in on that end, just making smart passes, we're a better team. When we take care of those possessions, we're just a better team.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Kyrie, I want to apologize to begin with. Writing, and so I just now joined. I missed some of the earlier questions, but I just want to ask your take about the poor defense that allowed the Nuggets to score 104 points in 3 quarters. You guys locked in and you held them to 15 in the final quarter to win. Mm-hmm. And it was a great comeback. But are you concerned about some defensive problems coming through this stretch?
Well, that's a good question, Greg. I think we have to remain resilient in terms of our effort throughout this stretch, as we've been doing so. It's not easy to, just nitpick on one thing that we can get better on the defensive end. It's always going to be a team effort. It's always going to be team responsibility. And I think you can look back at a few quotes over the last few games, just that defensive end is going to be the difference between a good and great team, being able to lock in on that end. And as I said, we were embarrassed, of last few games, just giving up 32 plus points, sometimes 33 plus points to these home teams, and you're climbing yourself out of a hole. It's a lot of energy that it takes to climb back in it. So I think we're just paying attention to it. We're aware of it. We're conscious of it. And we can't start like that moving forward. And if it does happen, we got to still be able to battle through. That's the game of basketball. We still got to hold our heads high, find each other on the offensive end, and then get back on defense. It's a difference that you can feel, or even just the fans or an observer can feel just when the energy on our team is up and we're doing the right things, following the game plan.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Kai. I'm curious, you talked about a team effort defensively. Is it, fitting, encouraging, whatever word you might want to use, that you had like 3 different guys that came up with huge defensive plays on Jokic's those 3 misses? I think Joe, and then I think KD, and maybe Nick on the third one. How encouraging is that?
It's always encouraging when you see maximum effort out there and we're doing the little things for one another. It's always encouraging.
Malika Andrews, ESPN.
Kyrie, I'm just wondering, in order to maybe replicate some of the urgency that you guys had in the second half without, to borrow your word, embarrassing yourselves in whatever form that may be as you guys march forward, as playoff opponents continue to kind of lock in more, what's the key to that going to be?
By the way, when I say embarrassing, I just mean just not playing up to our capabilities.
Sure,
and
right.
Teams are just coming out and doing whatever they want, feel good. Guys that are on the other opposing team, supporting guys on their team are having huge nights sometimes, compliment. That's when it gets embarrassing. We're just not doing the little things for one another. But moving forward, we just learn from it. Like I said, this experience and this team has been through so much. Now it's really coming down to just doing the little things and really just focusing on that. But what was the first part of your question, Malik? I want to make sure I answer it.
No, I just wanted to make sure, not to get bogged down in the word embarrassing, but to replicate that urgency that you have when you're down by 21 points. You don't want to have that, especially when you're going into the playoffs. So where does that need to come from intrinsically?
It just comes from our preparation and the way we work beforehand. And then the game will be a lot more effortless, still catching up on a lot of rest in between these games. So we understand that we don't want to put anything less than our best foot forward when we're out there. This is not guaranteed. We could feel the pressure in terms of kind of the environment intensifying. And each one of us as individuals have accomplished a lot, but now that we're all kind of in this new thing, we really have to figure out kind of what are our buttons to push. How do we get the most out of each other? How do we push each other to that level that we're trying to get to? The regular season is here. This playoff level is here. The refs are going to ref different. The players are going to be more locked in terms of the game plan. And it's really going to come down to who wants it. It's going to be about, kind of who wants it. So I like those type of competitive games, and we just got to continue to communicate with one another and what we want and what we see. So it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit longer in the next few games. I'm pretty sure in spurts of games, but learning. So happy with that.
Thank you.
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Hey, Kyrie, just what'd you make of Blake's performance, especially that third quarter where he really helped dig you guys out of that deficit or at least start to?
Man, well, just that's who we need Blake to be in terms of being out there and being an option for us, being a playmaker. His game has evolved. We understand that he's going to play a different style with us out there, and that's going to complement us when he figures that role out. But right now, we just need him to stay aggressive, playing as our big, and especially on that defensive end, we're asking a lot out of him. So we just got to help him out as best we can, just continue to communicate with him. But tonight was a great stepping stone for him and as well as just his role on our team. So
last question, Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Kyrie, just looking at these last 5 games in a vacuum, you've had Dame, Giannis twice, Luka, and then Nikola Jokic tonight. Is there anything about the attention to detail that's needed to even try to keep some of these star guys in check in these last 5 games specifically that can help you in the playoffs when basically every game is going to have to be one of those attention to detail types of matchups?
I mean, it's fun, man. Anytime you get to go against some of the best players in the league, you obviously know you're going to pay a lot of attention to them in the game plan. There's no surprise there. There's no secret. But you're absolutely right, though, Christian. The details matter. And as you've seen a lot of series or regular season series, we've been able to make adjustments. Sometimes it's going well, sometimes it hasn't. But in the playoffs, when we're all locked in, then we just got to be on one accord, one mind. Don't want to, kind of be outside of the team in any way. Just stick to what we have and trust it. That's the big word. This moving forward in this remaining journey, this remaining of the season is just trust. When you trust that the game will reward you when you're playing hard, you're supporting your teammates and you're doing the right things, then the game usually goes in your favor. And if it doesn't, then you pick yourself up and you learn from it and move forward. And I think this is the only time we've been really tested throughout the season in terms of having losses. Looking at 4 losses in a row, I don't remember the last time I had 4 losses in a row, which is very fortunate. I'm very blessed, but right. It's just it's great that we get these type of challenges, and now we get to go to Chicago where we have yet to win, and play against the Eastern Conference team that we may see. So it's exciting, Chris.